Think big, start small. Once I had a chance to help a friend. Let's call him Tom. And his sole wish was to become more in control of his emotions in difficult conversations. In a typical scenario, he would hear something he didn't like, get angry, snappy, reactive, and ultimately hurt his relationships. He wanted to be a different person, but the leap of change seemed impossible to make. He even dreamt of it. He tried a few times, but since changing who you are does not really happen overnight, he failed, and always reverted back to his old self. He was stuck in this "I can't change" sinkhole. When we started working together on his mindset, the very first thing I told him was, there are no super fast lanes, and that rebuilding his communication style would actually require him to start tweaking his subconscious go-to strategies. In other words, I told him, let's experiment. First, we had to change a little bit his behavior in order he can start thinking differently. And finally, that would bring him to making different choices. Well, we designed a tiny experiment, and his task was pretty simple. Every single time someone said something he did not like, he was supposed to count to 5 in his head before he said anything. That did not work every single time. But it worked enough times for him to realize that he could master his restraint and that he could choose to have power over what comes next. The reason why I'm talking about this is that gradually, over conversations he's been having that particular month, he realized that even though he makes mistakes, these mistakes are small. He fails small. And in those conversations, he realized he has more meaningful and connected conversations with colleagues. From this single-oriented experiment, behavioral experiment, he realized he can do things. He can have little victories on the way that cheer him on his growth mindset. His colleagues praised him, which was the most important influence. And ultimately, he went up to being both cheered on as well as ready to start a new tiny experiment. Why am I talking about this? I recently had discussions with several groups of young adults about change. And the most common things they mentioned they want to change or improve were mental health, the ability to focus more, communication skills in general. Now, the issue with all of these three is the same. These things are big, and we want the change to be fast. This is where we hit the wall the hardest. We come across a big obstacle, we try to climb it, we fall, we suffer defeat, and we give up. Actually, 81% of us fail when we try to establish a new habit. A staggering, yet not a surprising number, as one of the major components of growth mindset is resilience, not giving up. Angela Duckworth calls it the grit. And my question is, how can we train this more? What can we do? That's the reason why I'm having this talk. I want to show you that there is a sustainable way to build your resilience through simple, short behavior exercises called tiny experiments. As the name suggests, we start small. We pick something in your life that you want to improve, but it can't be too big. We tweak your behavior just a little bit to see what happens. What we do when we pick that is that if things go south and we fail small. That means it leaves a far smaller emotional damage, which then allows us to pick ourselves up, does not impact our courage, and we give it another go. And because it is doable, fear, for the most part, is out of the game. we celebrate and experience little victories more often, making it getting there far easier and enabling us to actually improve ourselves bit by bit. I've already given you one example of a tiny experiment. I was talking about Tom. I wish to share with you two more. Let's say you would like to become better listeners. Now, instead of hopping on the internet and gathering all the resources how to do that and completely overwhelming yourselves, we can just stop and think. What prevents us being better listeners? I wonder who in the audience has ever experienced talking to someone in person while actually staring at the screen of their phone. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of you here. And that's a perfect example of what we can design a tiny experiment on. Imagine we're going to implement a new behavior pattern, mechanical one, very simple. I would like you to picture it in your head. Every single time you talk to someone in person, you take your phone and you put it in your pocket. It does not go on the table. It's not in your hand. It goes into your pocket and does not come out until your conversation with that person is done. Now, in the evening, I want you to spend 10 minutes actively thinking about your day and all your social interactions. Have you managed to put your phone in the pocket? Yes. What changed? What was different? No. Why not? What were the obstacles? What was my behavior? What was I thinking? What choices did I make? And how can I improve that choice next time? After about 2 or 3 weeks, you will have enough data to actually ask yourself 3 important questions. Number 1, am I a better listener thanks to this experiment? Number 2, am I feeling more connected with the people? Number 3, am I more present? Now, here. I'm pretty sure if you run this experiment, you will all find that you are better at human connection in just a month. Now let me share with you the other one. Imagine you would like to read more books, but every single time you actually open a book, you fall asleep, or you get distracted. Instead of reading books, we're going to design a tiny experiment on focus training. I would like you to do this 3 times per day for the period of 2 weeks. All you have to do is pick a nice spot at your place, set a timer for 5 minutes, pick a spot on the opposite wall of you, and stare for 5 minutes at that spot. Resist the urge to get up and do something else. Fight off any other thoughts you might have in your head. Do not use your phone. If you can do this successfully for 5 minutes, increase to 10, and then to 15. Congratulations. In under 2 weeks, you just tripled your ability of deep focus. Now imagine what you can do in a month or in a year. Do you see the pattern? We pick something that is single and simple enough so we can start influencing that. We think about this and we talk about this, so we make it a conscious effort. Share it with friends. Talk to your buddies. We start designing and finally running an experiment for about a month. We do retrospectives. Every single day, we ask ourselves actively, how is it going? What is my behavior? What is my thinking? What are my choices? And how can I adapt for the next day? At the end of that period, I evaluate. Do I keep this behavior? Is it moving me forward? Is it helpful? Is it adding? Or do I roll back to my previous one and try a different path? Rinse and repeat for several months, and you will see a massive change. Tiny experiments are slow and stable method that will keep you for the long run. It draws on positive psychology, growth mindset research, and finally the belief that we all can change if we have the right tool set, the right skill set, and the right mindset. It is ultimately the 1% self-betterment every single day that will change your life. It will nurture your talents. It will make you have more positive impact on your peers, friends, and family. And without a doubt, enable you to change the world in your own unique way. So let me ask you this. If you fail, what happens? You fail small. Once, twice, 3 times, doesn't matter. You fail small. So you retain enough energy to keep going and to change it. What I would like to finish with is a very simple idea. If you can pick one thing in your life that you want to change, what is it? What will your first experiment be? But before we go to that, I want to ask you one more thing. And that is, if you do not design a tiny experiment, run it, evaluate it, who else will do it for you? No one. You hold the keys to your future. You hold the keys to our future. So if you already have an idea in your head, that's awesome. If you have just a faint image, that's great too. Whatever it is, think about it, talk about it, design it, run it, evaluate it. So what will be your first experiment? Thank you.